Welcome to the Inventor's Edge podcast, where insight meets innovation. Whether you're sketching your first idea or refining a finished product, you're in the right place. Our mission is to equip you with the tools, expertise, and clarity you need to succeed as an inventor, while helping you conquer fears and limiting beliefs that may be holding you back. I'm your host, Scott Putnam, founder and CEO of Inventor's Edge. Before becoming a seasoned product development coach, I was a wide-eyed inventor with a head full of ideas but no clear path forward. I know firsthand what it's like to feel stuck, uncertain, and overwhelmed. Fast forward to today, I'm a successful entrepreneur with multiple licensing deals and products on the market. I'm committed to helping inventors like you overcome obstacles, conquer fears, and transform your ideas into tangible success through proven, actionable, step-by-step strategies that deliver real results. Join us as we bring in industry pros, share expert advice, and dive deep into the world of innovation. Ready to turn your ideas into reality? Let's get started. What I love about the Inventor's Edge podcast is that we dive deep into the real stories behind today's innovators and entrepreneurs. Today's guest is Shawn Moye, an inventor whose journey started at just 16 years old with an idea, no money, and the determination to figure it out anyway. So instead of giving up, he goes to the library and teaches himself about patents, planting the seed for what would later become his groundbreaking invention. Shawn is now the creator of the Smart Sports Trainer, a wearable device that tracks over 20 performance metrics in real time to help athletes improve consistency, muscle memory, and mental toughness without the need for expensive gear. His mission: to make high-quality training tools accessible for every young athlete, regardless of background. So what you'll hear in this conversation isn't just about building hardware and software. It's really about resilience, fatherhood, and never letting go of the belief that your idea can change lives. And stick around to the end, because Shawn shares an incredibly powerful moment that reminds us why the work of inventors matters so much. Let's get into it. Hey, Shawn, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Scott. I am so happy to be a part of this program, and thank you for having a...
Man, well, I'm honored to have you on. Your story is so inspiring. And I know you're going to share a lot of pearls of wisdom for inventors. And that was my goal, is to really bring people on that maybe they're new to inventing or new to being an entrepreneur, or maybe they've been doing it for a while. But either way, we can always learn from each other. So
Absolutely, which is why there's in the...
Absolutely. Yeah, our brains, it doesn't shut off. It's like, ooh, you pick up a pen or something. I could make that better. We could fix that.
Exactly.
Whatever it is.
Exactly.
So tell us a little, just where you're from and just a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so I grew up in Ohio. Once I graduated high school, lived in Arizona for about to North Carolina. So kind of been in a few places around the world, around the country. Yeah, father, inventor, in my day-to-day job, operations manager. So I believe in building things. So I just try to pay it.
That's great. That's great. You had a support network early on, like, hey, Shawn, you can do this. Even though
Absolutely.
you might have these doubts, like, just keep going.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's great. Was that a family member or a football coach?
You know, it was a family member. It's funny, we talk about it. He owned some restaurants at the time, and there was an invention I had. I'll tell the story really quick. I was 16 years old, came up with this idea and invention, and I didn't have anybody around me who about the inventing process, but my mom, being a single mom, she knew to get me in front of, and she did that. And my cousin, he he had a bunch of his friends, and they're business owners. They own McDonald's, gas stations, and things like that. So I went to him and I said, "Hey, I got this idea." And I went to an invention submission company, and they were like, "Hey, for dollars, we'll give you the..." I was on fire, and I'm like, "Yes, great, right?" So I go to him. I said, "Hey, $1,000 for ABCD." He said, "Tell you what, you do some homework and you find out some information about this company and bring it back to me." So just a nugget, one thing he always taught me was that after the fact is a lot of people homework and they stop. They, I did go back to him. He let me present my to his friends, his business partners, and the day I was going to present the my product, I got a letter that said this company had an F rating. They do not do business with them. So I was able to present that and share that with him that, hey, I did my homework and I'm glad I did. Um, and I did go ahead and present and things like that. And to this day, we laugh because we call that the first Shark Tank. Had we been thinking that was another invention, right, we could have came up with, but about doing
Yeah.
that homework and following through and all that good stuff. And again, as people were coming, even who've been there already, always good reminders to make sure we're doing our due diligence.
Man, yeah. So he saved you 11 grand right off the bat.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm sure we've been around those type of companies that would promise us to be us excited.
They're good at it. Yeah, there's some really big invention submission companies that are very good at doing that. I've worked with so many inventors that have spent so much money doing that, and it all sounds great in the beginning, very shiny. They're, praising how amazing your product is and getting you really excited about the possibilities, and we just need this check. And then a lot of times some people don't hear back at all, or they don't
Yes,
end up a lot. So I'm glad that you had a really good mentor that said, hey, there's some sharks in the water in this space.
absolutely, absolutely. That, and then of course coaches and people that I've worked with as well. The seasoned guys, they just always pull me to the side, and I'll stay in a humble position, always willing to learn, always willing to be a sponge, no matter at any level that I'm at. So just always willing to take advice and take critique. Real quick, another story. When I first got supervising people, I wear my emotions on my sleeve, and a guy, and he pulled me to the side. And he was the one that did it, Scott. He was the one that made me upset that day. And he said, "Hey, Shawn, let me talk to you." And I was young and new to this, and on the managing side of things, and good store and managing, obviously, in our product. He was like, Shawn, if you're going to grow in this environment and lead people and manage things, you cannot wear your emotions on your sleeve. I never forgot that to this day. Um, so about managing, and when we hear that great news and how great we are, and those endorphins start to release in our brain, just make sure you take a deep breath and kind of bounce it off different people like you and this or pitfalls.
For sure. There are a lot of pitfalls, a lot of rabbit holes, a lot of ways. As inventors, there's just so many opportunities to spend money in
Yeah,
places you just don't need to, and some that you just shouldn't, because it's not, you're not going to have much benefit from it. There's not going to be much of an ROI. With that in mind, I was curious, and we'll get to the smart sports trainer in a second. That's the product that you created. You had your first invention idea at 16. If you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that be? And I know you just dropped a lot of gold already, but thinking about what's the one thing you tell
oh
yourself?
man, there's so many things. Herself is man, there can't even pinpoint one thing. I think, of course, stay the course. Of course, can um, or let your actions drive reactions. Never give up. There are a lot of no's, but you're one step closer to your yes. Um, some of the things that I myself then times when I would hear a no and just being honest and doing self reflection. Even with my
Hmm.
current product in its earlier um, infant stage, I would stop. I would take 6 months to a year break, hiatus from even working on it. So I would go
Hmm.
back and years lost. I would go back and say, even if
Sorry, and we'll edit this. For some reason, I just got
okay,
a notification that you're stopped, but we're back.
okay,
Keep keep going.
okay. So
That's
yeah, I would
great.
go back and tell myself again. Um, I would take breaks and hiatuses in between being discouraged and not having anyone there to kind of pump me up and things like that. And I didn't know at the time, you got to encourage yourself. And some days there's just going to be some tough things you got to deal with. But again, that's not an excuse to stop. So I would go back and tell myself that.
Yeah. That's great advice. I like the quote about successful people do the things that unsuccessful people don't feel like doing.
I love it. I love that. I love that.
I spoke with someone yesterday that had described that exact thing as, sometimes you got to chew glass.
Oh, I love that. That's
Very
awesome.
visceral metaphor for that, but yeah, it's true. You kind of got to, there's moments you got to grind through.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And even people that reach out to me, I tell them the same thing. You just have to keep pushing. And again, you're going to break through, you're going to get there, but you got to keep pushing at it, right? Because if we don't, who will?
Right. Yeah, great point.
Hmm.
Let's talk about your smart sports trainer product. How
Yes.
did you come up with that? And just give us a little bit of background on that.
Yeah. So my son, when we were living in Arizona, he was playing with the higher level kids. He gravitated towards basketball. So I worked a lot. And then I didn't have the money to send him to specialty camps. So, and again, for him, he played with some NBA players, some kids who are currently in the NBA and whose kids' parents were in the NBA. So if you go into a camp, you're like, whose kid are they really going to spend time with? My kid or some professional sports player's child? And that was one thing. And two, it's just not enough time at these camps or in a day, him practicing at the park to kind of retrain the brain and build new muscle memory and things like that.
Mhm.
So as I was working and things like that, I thought, what can I leave with him? What can I give to him to help him gain a competitive advantage? So that's where this all started from. It was really, it's a homage to my, and sometimes I tell him, one of the reasons why God allowed you to be born was for me to develop this product for you. But every time I look at the product, I see him in it. And yeah, it's holds a special place. And kind of even in that, I still had to make sure when I'm getting constructive criticism, I'm not taking it to heart because I'm like, you're talking about my kid. You're talking about my kid. No, this is constructive criticism to help us get better. But that's where it started. It started for him. And then as we would go to the park and things like that, I would see other kids at the park who didn't have anybody there to help them. They were alone. I grew up just with my mom, single mom. She wasn't there to help us at the park. We were kind of all coaching each other, coaching ourselves at a young age. So that's when it grew into this bigger, I don't know what you call it, this bigger goal, ambition is to help as many people as I can develop in the sport that they gravitate towards.
That's cool. Can you tell us a little bit about how the smart sports trainer, like how does it work?
So what it does is, and it's changed over the years so much. So initially, when I first developed it, what it would do as it relates to basketball, they have a when you're shooting motion, and I'll demonstrate it. You want to keep your elbow tucked in. So if you're kind of shooting like this, it would talk to you and tell you. First, it would buzz, and then it would talk to you and tell you if you were outside of those preset specifications that I had the manufacturer make or build into the product. It would tell you to keep your elbow tucked in. So it's actually talking to the kid and talking to the user, which they really love. Now it's through customer discoveries. I've done countless customer discoveries, meaning I'm going out talking to people. What are your pain points? Because a few years ago, I got to be on Entrepreneur Elevator Pitch. And one of the things came out was you have preset specifications in the product, but everybody shoots differently. Everybody swings differently. So what I've gravitated towards now is it learns the user. So now you go through your natural motion, and then after so many attempts, it will kind of build a range for you based off of that. And then if you deviate towards that, then it monitors how consistent you are towards your natural motion anyway. So it's tied to basketball, tied to the golf swing for putting. And as I talked to more people, I spoke to a nurse. She said, you know what? My husband, he deals with people in rehab. This would be great for those people. Track runners, when you run, you want your arms have to be in a certain motion. They were like, this would be great for that. I spoke to a boxer. They were like, you want consistency in your jabs. This would be great for that. So it's just migrating to different points. Again, it focuses on specific game time movements to help you develop and get better.
So that's amazing. So for really any sport
Any
that
sport.
somebody wants
Yep.
to do. Okay. I
Yes.
wondered about like swimming. Is this a waterproof thing too,
So
or?
that's something we were talking. I was talking with my manufacturers about making it for swimming and things like that as well. So as we get there, not there yet, but as we get there, that's something else we spoke about. And again, at its core, it is a training aid. That's what it is. Because sometimes when I go into the details, like, but what is it? It is a training aid for youth, and it's geared toward youth right now. Because a lot of times, if you can build that muscle memory at a young age, you're better off. And right now with NIL deals and things like that, especially hitting those younger players, I mean, you want to give your kid a competitive advantage as early as you can, even more so now. Because I mean, kids are turning pro, getting those deals at young ages is amazing. Like, where was that when I was little?
Yeah. Yeah. Where was my smart sports trainer
Right,
or mentor?
exactly. And it's awesome because I do get that feedback from through the customer discoveries and even from sports players, professional players who they test the product, they see it, they're like, I wish I had this when I was younger.
Yeah,
So it's
I mean, that's
awesome to even get
great.
that feedback.
Man, yeah, that's got to make you feel good.
It does. It does. Yep,
Can you
absolutely.
Yeah. Can you tell us about the journey from, okay, I have this idea for this product. I know it's going to be amazing. What did you do next? Like what was your journey from got this great idea. Now
Yeah.
I'm selling a real product that works.
Yeah, so what I did was originally, even with my first product, I went to the library. Went to the library, educated myself. It was
Mhm.
free. All these you got to pay for patents and things like that. That was free. I just went to the library, checked out books on patents, patent designs. I learned about a provisional patent, which was a lot cheaper than a utility patent or design patent. So
Yeah.
worked on got a book. I designed my own, the very first provisional patent. I think I paid maybe 125, $150. It gives you a year to work on your product and develop it. And then if you decide to move forward, you're that much further along. If somebody comes behind you, you got a year head start on them. So I did that. I got with a toy designer at the time out in New York. We did, I would say for the people out there, working contracts versus just verbal, yes, I'll do this for you. A guy, toy designer out of New York, we had a contract in place. I was going to pay him, I think, $5 for my first prototype. Somewhere along the way, he loved this idea. He fell in love with it, even at that stage. And he
Mhm.
said, "Don't pay me the $500." And I really didn't have it at the time. He said, "Don't pay
Yeah.
me the $500. How about you just name me on the patent?" But because I knew enough, I said, "No, I'll just pay you." And I'm glad we had a contract in place. But had I named him on the patent instead, he would be with me even to this day. He would be part of the patent.
Mhm.
So those type of things. So after that, I continue to work on it, found some manufacturing, worked with a manufacturer on a small scale. We built a relationship together. I always tell people, again, kind of going back to when those endorphins start releasing, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. I'm going all in and I'm going to refinance the house and take the kid. Pause, take a minute. Let's think through this thing. So I
Yeah.
started on a small scale with them. We worked back and forth with each other. Now I've been working with them for about 15 years now. And we developed the product along the way. And of course, when it was time to pivot, they were there to pivot with me. And then, of course, just picking up new contacts along the way. And again, it's just searching the web and trying to develop new contacts. And that's really how I did it and how I got to this point.
Did you have some guidance or somebody helping you through that? I mean, even just to find a manufacturer, or was it?
Honestly, Scott, honestly, and I know people just say it a lot. Honestly, it was just God. I did not have anybody. I can't even take credit for it because there was a lot of times, even now, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. And then an idea will come, and then a door will open, and I'm like, it's just falling in place. And a lot of times, I hear people talk about the laws of attraction. If you keep working towards it, things will just start to come to you.
Mhm.
People just start to reach out, and that's where I would say I've been. And I'm trying to go back, even as I go back and think about it. Yeah, I met someone who had an insight into EA Sports. They had a summer camp for kids. They said, we will put your product in the summer camps. You can get more feedback there. This was one of the older versions of the product. Got great feedback. Got a picture with a former NBA player holding the product even then to kind of give me some more leverage there that I'm able to say, hey, look, got an endorsement from this guy and that person. And again, customer discovery and say, hey, you should do this and you should do that, of course, within reason and what makes sense.
Hmm.
And then I can go back to the manufacturers. For me, all the money and fundraising done was done through me. I haven't had any investors or things like that as of yet.
Did you do Kickstarter, or what did you do for your
I haven't
fundraising?
done the Kickstarter yet. I met some people that are like, you should be on Kickstarter. So I'm thinking about doing Kickstarter. And there's some cohorts out there right now. But I think I'll start with Kickstarter versus the full blown investments, kind of along with naming yourself on a patent. A guy, he was telling me that once you work with an investor, they're always connected to you as well. So they invest $10,000. So once you give them their $10,000 back, you're probably continue to pay 5, 10, 15% every year, every month, whatever deal you work out,
Hmm.
even after you get to the level you need to. And don't get me wrong, I know we all need help and things like that. I've been fortunate enough to be in certain situations. But yeah, I'm looking at Kickstarter in the next few probably months.
That's great. That's great. And how far along were you with a family? Because I know you have kids. Was all this before wife and kids, or during, or how
No,
did you
this
do
was
that?
all during. Yeah, it was all during. So I'm working a swing shift. So I'm rotating 12 hours. I'm going to school at the time online and I'm working on this invention, right? And being a dad and things like that. So my cousin, the one I was talking to you about earlier, he always says, you're a unicorn. You're such a unicorn. And I look back and I'm like, I really don't know how I did it, but I couldn't sit any other way. I heard someone say, which I love, they were on a tightrope with no safety net.
Hmm.
There is
Hmm.
no other options. I have no other options. This will work. It has to work, and I'm going to be driven and see it to fruition. So it's
Yeah.
just continuing, like you said, some days eating the glass and just grinding and going. But yeah, it was a lot
Hmm.
going on and still going on. But yeah, you just do it, right? It's just what we do.
Yep. Yep. You become good at juggling. And there is that when you make that decision, right? Like, I'm burning the boats. There's no
Yes,
retreat. We are moving
yes,
forward. We're focusing forward, and we're walking forward.
absolutely.
With that, were there any, let's call them juggling moments, any funny, crazy things on your entrepreneurial journey, maybe with the family, or anything that stands out?
No, not really. No, I tried to separate everything out. So even if I had to work on my product while everybody was asleep, I did that.
Hmm.
And now that the kids are older, they are able to appreciate the journey more.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would just have to. There are a lot of sleepless nights, as I'm sure you know. But my dreams wouldn't let me sleep anyway, so I was up. But yeah, a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of going to work, and knowing you're going to have to do this all over again. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't trade it at all. I wouldn't trade the knowledge that I've gained is priceless. Even now, I think I may have mentioned it before, but being accepted into the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas in January of 2026, they call it CES. So, I mean, I wouldn't trade that for the world. Just experience, just to be. I was
Yeah.
fortunate enough to be at the Toy Fair in New York in March of this year. And there was a time, oh my gosh, there was a time when I got rejected from that, but
Mm.
then I got accepted into it now. I mean, it's just the growth, right? It's like there
Yeah.
was a time, I mean, for years, I tried to get even an article into Inventors Digest magazine. There was a time when I couldn't get in there.
Mm.
And then maybe last year, the year before, I ended up on the cover of the magazine. I'm like, you just can't. I wouldn't trade any of it. It was hard, but I think back and I'm like, man, wow, thank God. There was a time when I couldn't even get in it. I mean, Scott, I would send articles, I would send write-ups, I would send press releases, everything, and it just wouldn't hit. But then continuing to develop the product, continue to work on it. Customer
Hmm.
discovery is huge. I would encourage everybody, customer discovery. Don't be so protective or even so sensitive about the idea that you can't take the feedback. Sometimes you do need to pivot. Sometimes you just need to add something else. But that once you do, I mean, it'll shoot you to the moon. So, but yeah,
Hmm.
it's been an awesome journey so far, and so much further to go. Let's say that.
Right. Yeah. Such great points. Trying to be more objective instead of
Yes.
so subjective with your own product. It's hard to
Right.
do.
It
I tell
is.
people all the time, your product, your ideas and your product are like your baby. Nobody wants to
Yes.
hear that baby's ugly, and it comes through that filter where it's like, la la la, only tell me the
Yes.
good stuff. But we have
Yes.
to be
Yes.
honest with ourselves, and it's for your own good, and it's for the betterment of the product if you can get that really honest feedback and make those tweaks along the way.
Yes. And I had to stop asking family members, right?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I know I'm the greatest, mom. Thank you so much. I'm the greatest thing ever. But I'm like, surely there has to be something I can work on. No, you're great. So, and I try to use
Everything's
that
perfect.
even out, I try to use that just, I always say self is the hardest person to judge on a personal level. So I always try to um, use that as well. Like, where can I get better? Where can I get stronger? Even my downline team, even at work, I always ask, hey, how can I help you? How can I better serve you? Right? Servant leaders and things like that. So I try to apply it to the product. Hey, how can we get better? How can we, what are we missing? Where is the next move? How can we get on the forefront of things? So just continue to
Mhm.
talk to parents, talk to the athletes, things like that. It helps us get
Yeah, I mean, that's how you discover your blind spots. And we all
absolutely.
have them. With that in mind too, I know that you wore some different hats. You built the hardware for this and the software for the product. Were you always kind of a tinkerer, or did this push you way outside your comfort zone, or what did that look like?
This pushed me way outside my comfort zone. So again, always learning and continuous improvement is my mantra. So yeah, I'm like, you got to do what? And of course, like I said earlier about the patent, going get the book. Let's learn on it. Let's get better.
Mhm.
Let's figure it out. So working with my manufacturers and yep, have the user interface, the proprietary coding developed and all that good stuff. Same with the hardware. So yep, been fortunate enough. My manufacturers brought in a guy who's like very on the technical side. I mean, hands down, is amazing. But
Mhm.
not only that, but it's willing to coach. So if you're willing to be coached, somebody will coach you. So I just ask a lot of questions, curious enough to ask questions. I always tell people, be curious enough to ask questions, be curious enough to figure out, especially for because it's my product, I should know how it works, sort of, kind of. So yeah, let's figure it out. Let's talk through it. But yeah, it's all proprietary, and so very grateful for that. But definitely pushed me out of my comfort zone. That's what I was saying earlier. I'm like, man, I'm like, I don't know how I got here, and I just thank God that I'm here because um, where I came from and not having the resources around me at all. And again, to this day, I'm still the only inventor in my family that I know, which I
Mhm.
do take pride in and I appreciate it. If anybody got any questions, but then building it, then I get to meet people like you and others that creates safe environments where we can fail and talk to each other and get better and get stronger and continue to grow.
Yeah, you're spot on with that.
Mm,
And you do need that community. And
yes,
Inventor's Edge, we have a community and we get together a couple times a month. And there's always this, I think for me included, but with other inventors, there's this relief like, oh, I'm not a lone wolf. I have the support of
yeah,
my pack, my group.
yep,
And I think it gives a lot of people a lot of confidence. And your product does that too. I mean, I'd
yes. Oh, I
imagine
love it.
working with young people, and yeah, I know that's your mission too, about making training more accessible, especially for
Yes,
young athletes. How
yeah,
does that feel to you, knowing that your invention could not just adjust somebody's game, but you're giving them confidence in their future, in their
yeah.
life?
Oh, I love it. It's beautiful. I mean, there are no words to describe how it makes me feel, even when I hear and see someone using it. There was a club in West Virginia, and the coach sent me. I think the percentage went from like 57% consistency rate for his kids to like 87 something percent within a few weeks. But
Wow.
that's life changing for kids, life changing for the user at any age, and it gives you confidence. A lot of this thing of what we do in every walk of life is a lot of it is just confidence. And
Mhm.
um, I tell my son and other people, take the shot. You just might make it. It's not about the miss or the make. It's just about being willing to take the shot. Um,
Yeah.
so, but having that confidence a lot of times is what we need to do that and build that consistency and knowing, hey, I did my best. When I stepped on the court, I trained, I did everything right. I did everything I was supposed to do. And they built their confidence in that. And that's all you can ask. And that's what I appreciate so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. And mistakes are part of the journey.
Yes.
I like the term fail fast when you're
Yep.
starting out. That's how you're learning. I also like
Absolutely.
learning from other people that have been there, done that. They can
Yep.
be great mentors to just keep you between
Absolutely.
the rails. That is so awesome. I want to do 3 quick lightning round questions, and I'm just going to fire these off, and you just whatever
Okay.
comes to mind. So, what's one invention other than your own you wish you could take credit for?
For me, I think it might be Facebook. That's freaking awesome.
Good invention, yeah.
Yeah. um, yeah.
Good call.
Yeah. I really don't have any more. Um,
All right. Question number 2, coffee, tea, or energy drink? What was your late night fuel, your late night inventor grind?
Coffee.
Okay. Coffee
Yep.
drinker. I know swing shift. That
Yes.
I've worked jobs where I had swing shift. It kind of messes with my brain and
Yes.
probably others a
Yep.
lot. Last one here. If your younger self could see you now, what would he say?
Scott, you're gonna make me cry, man. What are you doing?
Okay. We're getting real.
Man.
That's what we're about.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Scott, why'd you ask me that? I think he'd be proud. He'd definitely be proud. And that continuing the journey and things like that. So, oh, I'm gonna get you,
Yeah.
Scott. I think he'll be proud. Yeah, I think that to see the development, and not only in the product, but to equate it to myself as well, right? So
Yeah.
the product developed, but then I can equate it to myself developing over that time too. So again, especially where I grew up, it wasn't the best.
Hmm.
Could have easily been a statistic. Could have easily gone the wrong way. And my mom did a
Hmm.
lot of praying and down on her knees, and she even says it to this day, like, I don't know where you got it because I didn't give it to you. And
Mm,
so even to hear that, I'm so grateful, and I think my younger self would say the same.
yeah. Awesome. Thanks, man. I
Yep.
appreciate
God,
you
I'm gonna get
sharing.
you after.
Thanks for getting real.
Yep,
I know
absolutely,
I
absolutely.
sprung those last 3 on you, and I really appreciate your vulnerability, and I appreciate you sharing your truth with our group, because that's what I'm about with Inventor's Edge. Even the name, it's about the inventor. It's about the person. Yes,
Yes,
of course, the product, but first and foremost, it's really about the person and their story, the story behind the product. And uh, man, you should be really proud. Your journey is so inspiring for so many people coming out of adversity, knowing the
mm,
challenges, all of the things that were all around you, and just saying, I'm going to follow a different path. I'm going to keep walking forward, walking my truth, my faith,
yes,
and just continuing on, and having trusting and having the faith that this might suck, this might be hard, but I'm going to keep going. And then you get some momentum and you feel that support. And all of a sudden you arrive at a place where, like, look what I created. That started in my
absolutely,
mind.
absolutely, absolutely.
That's so cool. Any final thoughts for the Inventor's Edge
No, I
community?
think we covered it all. I think again, just let your passion out, let your actions create a reaction, keep driving. And again, it will step by step, right? Just keep walking, no matter how
Yeah.
small that step is. Every day,
Yeah.
keep doing something towards developing and bringing your product to fruition.
That's awesome. Very cool. Yeah, with that in mind too, the story, I mean, you're speaking from the heart. You're going to touch a lot of, you touch me, and you're going to touch a lot of people, touch their hearts, their minds. If somebody wants to get in touch with you, maybe just with a question or anything, what's the best
Yeah.
way for people to reach you?
So they can email me at the Moye Group. So TheMoyegroup, the Moye Group at gmail.com. I'm on
Okay.
Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn, the Smart Sports Trainer, or they can bring up Shawn Moye, ShawnMoye. There's a lot of stuff out there. They can go and watch the Entrepreneur Elevator Pitch. I was with Joy McGann on America's Big Deal a few years ago as well. So there's a lot of stuff out there. They could reach out to me. Always willing to help, inspire if I can. And yeah, just pay it forward.
Awesome. Love it. Love it, Shawn. I so appreciate you coming on and getting real with us and sharing your story. And I know it's going to be inspiring to so many people. I'd love to have you back on down the road.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Maybe after I come back from CES, hopefully it's good news and we can discuss that.
Awesome. Sounds great, Shawn. Thanks so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate you, Scott.
Thanks for tuning in to the Inventor's Edge podcast. I'm your host, Scott Putnam, and if you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to like and subscribe, leave a review, and please share it with fellow inventors. Your next breakthrough could be just around the corner. For more tools, tips, and resources, visit us at inventors-edge.com. Until next time, invent with purpose, innovate with passion, and bring your ideas to life.